afternoon, everyone. First of all, thanks for coming. My name is Megha Raj. I'm a student at Niagara College. So today, our topic is what is in your heart? What is happening in your heart? Are you prepared? So here, it covers what should do if you think the person may be suffering from cardiac arrest, you are alone and not a trained rescuer. Second, what is the best steps to take if you are having a heart attack? Okay. This presentation explains signs and symptoms of cardiac arrest and highlighting the steps to take. So estimated 35,000 of cardiac arrest occurs in Canada. So the vast majority happens at home or else in public places. So a few people survive, but the survival rate is high if you perform CPR and uses the AED at the right time. Clear? So sudden cardiac arrest. What is sudden cardiac arrest? Sudden cardiac arrest is the abrupt loss of heart function, breathing and consciousness. So loss of heart function, there is no breathing and unconscious. Okay, so this results from the problem with your heart's electrical system and which disrupts the heart's pumping action and stops blood flow to your body. Next slide. So what is the difference between cardiac arrest and heart attack? People often use this as synonyms. They are not same. So here, cardiac arrest, as I mentioned, it is an electrical problem. Okay, and heart attack, it is a circulation problem. Here you can see this is a normal artery and it is a blocked artery. So here the block is due to either the blood clot or the atherosclerosis. It is like a fatty deposition or the cholesterol deposition which blocks the blood flow to your heart. So here is the main difference. In cardiac arrest, the heart stops beating and needs to be restarted. That's why we are giving CPR. Okay, so as I mentioned, cardiac arrest is the electrical problem triggered by the disruption of the heart's rhythm. In heart attack, during heart attack, what is going to happen? The blood flow of the heart is blocked due to any blood clot or atherosclerosis or any plague. Okay, that's why the heart attack sufferers, we are taking them to the surgery to remove the obstruction or doing any angiogram to remove the obstruction. Clear? So here in heart attack, symptoms may start slowly and persist for hours and days or weeks before the heart attack. The heart continues to beat, but because of the blockage, it is not receiving oxygen-rich blood. So the blood which carries oxygen. So if there is any block, the muscle gets tight, right? So a heart attack, it is a circulation problem. SCA, it is a electrical problem. So to be noted, a heart attack can sometimes trigger the electrical disturbance which leads to sudden cardiac arrest. Next. What are the main causes of sudden cardiac arrest? So it is mainly due to the ventricular fibrillation or the ventricular tachycardia. So tachycardia is when the heart's beat pumps so fast. Next is bradycardia. Bradycardia is the rhythm is slow, the heart pumps slow. That are the main causes. The other causes is like scarring of the heart tissue. That means it may be a result from the prior heart diseases. Then next is a thickened heart muscle. Or the next is heart medication. So if you are taking heart medication for prolonged time, this is a cause for sudden cardiac arrest. Electrical abnormalities. Electrical abnormalities, for example, Wolff-Parkinson's-White syndrome. That means in your heart, there is an extra electrical pathway is occurring on your upper and the lower chamber. So that also leads to sudden cardiac arrest. Then any blood vessel abnormalities or any recreational drugs you use. So this can occur for the healthy people also. Next, what are the symptoms of cardiac arrest? So as I mentioned, no pulse, there is no response and no breathing. And enlargement of pupils, it may be like 90 seconds after cardiac arrest. What are the risk factors of sudden cardiac arrest? So personal or the family history of heart disease. Then if after any exertion or like after any physical activity, if you get any recurrent chest pain or if you have any fainting spells, you are at the risk of sudden cardiac arrest. Then smoking, chain smokers, chronic smokers you can say. Then hypertension, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity is a main factor. Then diabetes, excessive alcohol consumption and stress. So here is the chain of survival. First, say CAB, okay, the order. First we have to call 911, then circulation, that is chest compression, airway clearance and breathing. The last step is the defibrillation. So the guidelines. First I'll go through that, then I'll demonstrate to you, okay? So check whether the scene and the person is safe or not. Like we have to check if there any chemical hazard or any electrical hazard. There is nothing in the environment that may cause harm to us. Okay, first you have to check the scene and the person, and then make sure that the scene is safe. Then we have to tap the person on his shoulder. Hey buddy, are you okay? Can you hear me? Okay. Then at the same time you have to assess his breathing. So you should not get confused with the normal breathing. We know how we are breathing like this, right? But this person sometimes use agonal respiration. Agonal respiration is like gasping like this. Okay, so you should not get confused with the normal breathing and the agonal respiration. Okay, then go for pulse. If you know to check the pulse, then only. Okay, if it doesn't know, just leave it. If you know to read the pulse, then carotid pulse. Otherwise you can go for the radial pulse. Clear? Then so there is no response, there is no pulse, you have to call 911. Okay, if the person have a bystander, you can ask him to call the emergency number. Okay, because it's going to be an exhaustive procedure. We are going to get exhausted after the compression. So you have to ask the bystander to call 911 and come back. Clear? Then initiate chest compression. If there is no response, no breathing, no pulse, initiate chest compression. So why we are giving the chest compression first? Because a person like us, we can hold two minutes without brain damage, right? So likewise, the person also if the person in cardiac arrest also, person can hold the breath for 2 minutes or more than that. So the research studies says that found that 10 minutes of oxygen is trapped in the body even when the heart stops. So if we are giving the chest compression externally, the heart the trapped oxygen is pumped to the heart, and then the brain is get intact. Okay, the oxygen is pumping to the brain. Okay, then brain cell shows damage at 4 minutes and complete brain death happens at 10 minutes without adding ventilation. So we are giving the compression, increasing the internal thoracic pressure. That means the pressure inside the thorax, and then if directly we are compressing the heart, which helps to pump the blood without giving any ventilation or breath. That's why we are giving chest compression first. Okay, now I am going to demonstrate it. So first what we have to do, we have to check whether the scene is safe or not. There is no electrical hazard, there is no chemical hazard. Okay, so we are sitting behind him, and then if you know the person, it is okay. You no need to wear the glove. If you doesn't know the person, it's better to wear a protective gloves, because if you no need to touch his body fluid to avoid the contamination. Clear? So now I'm going to tap. Hey buddy, are you okay? Can you hear me? There is no response. At the same time, I'm assessing his breathing. So he is breathing or not, or he is going to gasping or not, like this. Okay, and then I'm making the bystander to call 911. If nobody is there, we have to call 911 and tell them to bring AED. Okay. Now we are going to administer. So there is no response, no breathing. We are going to administer the chest compression. Okay. So how we are going to administer the chest compression? How many we have to give? So for the chest compression, 100 to 120 per minute chest compression for the adults we have to give. Okay. And the depth is 2 inches, 5 centimeter. Clear? So how we are going to administer? We are interlocking our fingers and the elbows should be straight, the shoulders underneath your hand. So find the middle of the chest, lower part of the sternum. Okay, not over the breast or nipple. Okay, and the left side, we are going to administer first 100 compression. If the best practice is for 30 compression plus 2 rescue breath. Clear? If you don't know the person, you should not give the mouth-to-mouth breathing. Better to give 100 compression. If you know the person or you are trained, then 30 compression plus 2 rescue breath. Clear? So now I am going to administer. You are not going to lean on his body, okay? But we have to give 2 inches depth compression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. So after this, we have to give the 2 compression. 2 compression, 2 breath, sorry. So how we are going to give? Head tilt, chin left, pinch his nose. You have to blow to his mouth. 2 rescue breaths. You have to see his chest is rising or not. Then again you have to give, but fast as possible. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. Again, after 30 compression, 2 rescue breath. So likewise, 100 compression we have to give. If he is coughing, what you are going to do? Are you give any compression more? No, we are not going to give compression. If he is responding, we are not going to give compression. Make him to lie down and until the medical teams come. Clear? Okay. Now, so the chest compression is 100 to 120 per minute. Then 2 inches, at least 2 inches, that is 5 centimeters. I'm telling about the adults only, okay? Then deliver the rescue breath. Head tilt, chin left, and 2 rescue breath, okay? Now the AED comes, the defibrillators team comes, okay? Medical teams come. So what they are going to give is they are administering a electric shock, so which helps the heart to, as a natural pacemaker, to regain and control and establish an heart rhythm, normal heart rhythm. So they are going to place, they have 2 pads. So they are going to place 1 pad below the clavicle. Clavicle is the collarbone. So below the clavicle, and the other one is the 4th and 5th intercostal space. So 4th and 5th intercostal space is the space between 2 ribs, okay, in the mid-axillary line. So 2 pads and then administering shock. Clear? That is the defibrillator. So here you have to make sure that this is an exhaustion procedure. If you are exhausted, please don't do it, because you are not giving enough pressure, then the heart is not going to pump. So you need at least 2 inches depth and 100 compression. Clear? So this thing is rescuers should and rescuers should not do. So rescuers should perform chest compression at the rate of 100 to 120 per minute. Rescuer should not compress at a slower than 100 minutes or faster than 120. It should be a rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like that. Okay. Next is compress to depth at least 2 inches. That is 5 centimeter. Not greater than 2.4 or not less than 2 inches. There is no use if you are giving less than 2 inch. Then allow full recoil after compression. So we are compressing and allow the chest to full recoil it. Means full comes up, like chest should comes up. If you should not lean on his body. Then minimize pauses in compression, and we should not interrupt compression for greater than 10 seconds. It's a fast procedure. Okay. Then ventilate adequately. 30 compression, 2 breath. That is the best practice. If you don't know the person, only the compression. Okay, to avoid the contamination. Then rescuers should not provide excessive ventilation. Okay. Next is some additional information. So follow these steps for adults and adolescents on the left side. Check pressure pulse every 2 minutes. So if you know to check the pulse, you can either see the carotid or the radial pulse. Okay. Then hand placement, as I mentioned, interlock, and then with the heel of the palm you have to administer lower part of the sternum for the adult and adolescents. Then for the children age 1 to puberty, at least how we have to give is we are administering for the small children with one hand, other hand is either you can place back or you can lock like this. Okay, at this step 1, 2, 3, same 2 inch. But for the children, we are using only the children. For the infants, we are using only the 2 fingers, but just pressing like this, administering. Okay, and the inch is like depth is 1.5 inches, like 4 centimeter. Next, what to do if you have a heart attack? Okay, first call 911. Chew and swallow aspirin. If you are taking as early like aspirin or nitroglycerin, you can take immediately either aspirin or nitroglycerin. Then open the front door. Sit or lie in a comfortable chair to avoid fall injury. Clear? Next, some myths. So that is cuff CPR. Some online resources claim that breathing deeply, then cuffing, it will help to beat heart normally. But the American Heart Trusted Source Association does not endorse cuff CPR because it cannot be used to treat an unresponsive person. They are not respond. They are not able to cuff at all. So this is not useful. Second is water and cayenne pepper. So this is also another online recommendation that it is not effective. A glass of water and 1 spoon of cayenne pepper. It also helps to increase the heart rate. There is no proof at all, so don't use it. Okay. Next is like sudden cardiac arrest can be prevented or not. Yes, of course you can prevent if you follow a healthy lifestyle. Control your blood pressure. Keep your cholesterol level under control. Stay at a healthy weight. Eat healthy diet. Get regular exercise. Come to Heart Niagara. We are there to help you. Limit alcohol consumption. Then do not smoke. Manage stress. Manage diabetes. Make sure that you get enough sleep. If you want to get a training for CPR, Anita is here. She will take classes and you will get certification for that, 1 year certificate. That's all. Thank you.